of the Ruger 1022 Archangel kit. During this, you'll see what I have added on, as well as exactly what to do to install the kit and everything that's involved. First off, got this carrying case here at Dick's Sporting Goods for 35 bucks. It's pretty good. It's by Blackhawk. It's a Sportster. Let's see. Tactical rifle case. It's got pockets everywhere. You keep your ammo, you got your reloader, you got your clip. It's a big pocket here. There's a slip in here. Open this right up, and there's your rifle. Now, before we really get started here, just want to make sure you know bolt is locked back. There's nothing in the chamber. This is a safe rifle. Now the rifle itself I got for $210 at Dick's Sporting Goods, and that's another $10 for the background fee. So you have to check your background whenever you buy a rifle. So that's a total of $220 just to get the Ruger 1022. Now the Archangel stock, this main black here, it's got the adjustable 6-position stock, and it comes with a fake shroud, gas block slash shoot, what do they call those? Oh, muzzle brake, that's it. Brain fart there. And it comes with a polymer bayonet that fixes on the bottom, just like that. I didn't like to keep it on there when I had this piece on, simply because, well, it's polymer and it's not real. Slips right off there. To get the gun ready for the Archangel kit, all you have to do is take out the screws that hold it into the wood stock, take off the band that's on the front, and then you have to drift out the front and back sight. Now to do this, most people use a brass punch if they have one. If you don't have a brass punch, you can get a regular punch. Just put a 22 casing over the end of it. That should work for anything. Small ball peen hammer or any kind of hammer, and just lightly drift them out, just like the directions say. After that, it's fairly straightforward. You just slip it on there, put in the screws. Directions tell you everything. Now, the kit itself I bought for 128 bucks off of Amazon. Now, I've heard reviews that can go, they've got it as low as 100 bucks and all the way up to 150 bucks. Doesn't really matter where you get it, I guess, just depending on how much you want to spend on it. Moving on from that, the handguard here, I did several modifications to it. Now first of all, when you have the handguard, it's just a normal, it has loops inside of it that you can connect rails to, and I actually ordered these rails. It's M4A1 rails to go on the handguard. They're 10 bucks each from Amazon. Shipping was pretty quick. They got here in about 4 days on Free Super Saver. After that, I got all these. These are XTM rail covers by Magpul. They work really well. They only take up a few rails instead of a long one, which makes it more customizable to fit with, like, the handguard here. This is a Magpul RVG vertical rail grip. Moving up here to the sights. By the way, the grip is 26 bucks off Amazon. Works really well. Now, when you buy a pack of these rail covers, it comes in a pack of 4 here. And the pack itself is 8 bucks about off Amazon. You can get a little less or a little more depending on where you get them from. Basically, put them together. They just go together like this. They slide in and they clip over the rails right here. They're very solid. They aren't probably going to come off at all unless you're banging around a whole lot, which most likely you're not going to be. Up here, This is a UTG low profile detachable front sight. It's got an A2 post. That was 18 bucks. Now at first, when I got this, I had this rear sight on it. It's a UTG match grade A2 sight. And it fixed right on the back here where the handle is now. And with I ordered a high profile UTG sight to go on the front so that when I mounted it on this, it would be at the right height for the rear sight. Now, if you're planning on mounting it like I have it here, you don't want to order the high profile, you want to order the low profile. Otherwise, the front will be about a 1/4 inch taller than the back and it won't aim right, won't function. So get the low profile if you plan on mounting it like that, high profile if you plan on keeping this on the end. This back here is a GMG, it's Global Military Gear, AR-15 carry handle. Mounts well along the back here. The metal grip goes all the way along here, so it's not just two on each side, so it grips the whole rail. I decided not to get the UTG carry handle because I read reviews and it said that this back here is actually very loose and every time they'd shoot it, it would flip back and forth. I didn't want that. This is actually very solid. So I would recommend that people would get this over the UTG one. This was 30 bucks off of Amazon. And this other rear sight here that I got before is 18 bucks from Amazon. Now the front here, this is an E&L Manufacturing barrel shroud. I got to give a shout out to Stone4482. He's the one that had this originally in his video, and I decided to get one because of his video. It mounts really well. It's one set screw in the back here. I recommend using, where is it, thread locker to mount it with the set screw, depending on how you like it. If you want your foregrip really up far, they actually send a foregrip with the barrel shroud. Hooks him right there instead of the set screw. For my preference, that's way too far forward, so I said not to use that. So, this is, once again, E&L Manufacturing. They have a site. It was 37 bucks about to get this. Shipping didn't take very long. They send it priority instead of first class, so it gets there in 2 to 3 business days instead. Now, when you put this on, you're going to have a gap here normally. And I decided to build something because I didn't want this gap where the barrel got really small going back into the back here. So I made my own thing, and it's all the way from back here, because the barrel goes back to the bull barrel size. It's 1 inch PVC connected with 1 inch to 3/4 inch takedown coupling, connected with a copper 3/4 to 3/4 coupling. Give it a little more beefy look. I liked it that way. If you're going to do this, you got to make sure you hollow out the 3/4 inch PVC, because otherwise it won't fit over the front here. So you have to go in there with a file, get that down. And I painted it with Rust-Oleum trim and bumper paint. Basically, it gives it an OEM black look, so it almost completely matches the side of the gun and the barrel shroud itself, which is what I was aiming for in the first place. If anybody wants more information on that, just message me. I've got a diagram here. I can send it for the barrel shroud receiver. It's got all the measurements. Now, if you go further on, that's about all I did with it. I think it looks pretty good like that. And I might get a sight in the future, but I didn't want to go fancy. I wanted to go old school, get just the regular sights and everything on it. Now, there are other options that go with this. So again, I showed you I had the sights that were mounted. One was mounted on here like this, and one mounted on the back. Those work perfectly, held to 0, no problem at all, very solid. UTG tends to make very, very well made products. The rail covers also, all you have to do to get them off, they've got a pivot point once they're on the rails. Remember not to put them together before they go on the rails, otherwise you'll end up breaking them trying to separate them again. But you just pull apart with a screwdriver and they pop right off the rail. Just like that. Come off. You want to put them back on, slip it over the rail, click it back in, solid. Now when I originally put this together, I wanted to make it look more like a sniper version, and I had a bipod I put on this, a UTG Tactical Op bipod. It's got adjustable legs on it. That was about, I think it was 25 bucks. And they can lock in, so when you push this, they won't come back down. As soon as you turn them, they'll go back in. Retractable, very strong springs. They're not going to fold back on you with recoil. It's a very solid mount on the bottom of the gun. It mounted right here. Worked really well for me. Also, I got a scope for it since I wanted to be a sniper. So I got a Barska 3x9 X32, which worked really well also, held to 0 nicely. Came with scope covers, came with scope rings to go on dovetail mount. And since the top of this is not dovetail, you had to get some rings that would do that. Now I realized I went and bought some Weaver quad lock rings at Walmart. And the only problem with these, the original ones, was they were so close to the top of the gun here that the scope would be hitting up against the top. It wouldn't secure down right, and it just didn't fit. So I had to go back, return those, and actually get one. They have spacers, they're see-through rings. Those raise it up enough. And so when I had that all put together, no rail covers or anything, it looked somewhat like this, which is a very good look. I had no problems with it, I just wanted something different. Now, there's other things like, I wanted a flashlight mount, but I didn't want to pay for the tactical flashlight mount. A lot of people, I mean, you go to places and they'll charge you upwards of 50 bucks just to get a ring to put a 1-inch tactical flashlight in. I decided to get these scope rings because I didn't use them anymore because I took the scope off the top. And it's actually, since they're 1-inch scope rings, they mount to a flashlight very well. It's 10 bucks for 2 of them. The flashlight in here is actually pretty bright. It's actually a free flashlight from Harbor Freight. Works well for in-home defense or short distance outside it in the dark. Had no problems with that either. That's pretty much all I did with it. There's those extra options you have on there. This is, once again, the Ruger 1022 with the Archangel kit with different mods I have on it. And hopefully sometime in the future I'll make a shooting video with it. If you guys have any questions, message me. And there you go.